Hey, Richard.
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, good, man. I got a little bit of a buzz going on.
Oh yeah.
Got into the cider, the berry juice.
Yeah, what do I drink bubble tea some often. That's my preferred beverage.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
the place I go to just made a new app. They used to have just like a points card. Now they have an app, but it's not launched yet. You can download the app, but it doesn't start until like April 14th. But then I think I could order on the app and collect the points on the app. That was all that I was waiting for. I felt like the bubble tea stores have been like behind the technical revolution. They never had an app yet.
Never thought they did need one. I didn't think that was a necessity. I mean, you
It
go
is
there,
nice. Like on the way there, you could say just like renew my past order, and then by the time you walk there, it's ready. It's kind of
oh,
annoying to like have
yes.
to, because bubble tea, especially, you gotta say like the type, the sugar level, the ice level. I always say double boba. It's a
Double
one
boba.
thing.
I want triple boba, please.
Yeah, triple boba, and they get concerned. They like to do double boba though.
Boba. What's a boba?
Boba is a little spherical, like gummy that is in the tea. That's what the bubble refers to in bubble tea. And they're like kind of like little round gummies. And the straw for bubble tea is like thicker than a normal straw. So when you drink it, there's a chance that these like gummies will like come be like sucked up the straw. And you can see
Okay.
them.
I thought those were tapioca or whatever. I don't even know what
Yeah,
tapioca
same.
is anymore.
Yeah, tapioca and boba is both referring to the same
Boba.
thing inside there.
Boba. Boba soy. Boba.
Yeah, there's Boba Fett. Yeah, that's what I was.
It's Boba Fett as well. Yeah, I was thinking Boba Fett.
Yeah, so recently I made a cool video on YouTube. I was playing this other game that I play, Astroneer, and like I got pretty good at it recently. So I turned on screen recording, and then in like a single day, I played for like 5 hours, and I went from like a new game to like a complete game, and I had a screen recording of the whole thing. So I cut it into like 5 1-hour videos, and I put them on YouTube, and then I added like chapters to the video. So uh, if you watch one of these Astroneer videos that I made, maybe every like 10 minutes in the video, there's like a chapter list, like in where the description is in the video. You can click on like a chapter, and then it'll just like warp to that timestamp, and they're all like labeled. So
Super useful,
it's
yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, it's actually really nice because now I have I have like 5 hours of video, but it's all broken down into like every 10-minute segment. It like says what my current task is, and even if you don't watch the video, you can just like read the task order of like what I did to get to the end of the game or something. It's kind of
Cool.
satisfying to have that. I feel like in the future, like I really like this game, so in the future I'll probably like end up watching my own playthrough like when I'm old, just to see, like, just to remind myself of what I did.
It's good to have, yeah. No, I deleted all my videos of me playing Dark Souls, but I do remember one that I did that was pretty awesome.
Did
I
you have it
created
on
this,
YouTube?
yeah, I created this dexterity build with a scythe, and I just fucking decimated the Iron Giant, our Iron Golem. Just murdered him in like 5 seconds. Just walked in there, power within. I was buffed up. Boom, 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 dead. I was just like, fucking yeah. Like optimized build. Like you got casuals that play that game and they have like quality builds and they like to explore and they put their levels, everywhere. I'm just like fucking 40 dexterity, then anything else. Like I went pure attack.
What made you get rid of them, the videos?
I cleared my channel for piano, but then I never put any piano stuff up there.
Yeah, there's now
Uh,
you can make playlists and multiple channels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have only like 10 subscribers or something, but I like to keep them guessing. Every video that I post is totally unrelated to the previous.
That's your thing then? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I guess
want
my
mine to be.
channel. What's your
Huh?
channel? My channel name is just my actual name, so I figured like it's not really themed in any way other than just like stuff that I did.
Yeah, I think it's just my name, but I'm doing that sideburn thing. The Burning Man, you
Yeah.
burn effigies. So they have like a burn name, and I'm like, well, everybody online calls me Mana, so I'm just gonna be Mana, which secret of mana, secret of
Yeah.
magic. So magic, maybe that will be my piano name, Mana.
That's a pretty good name.
Can't call it secret of mana. I think that's trademarked, but it's like I don't want to use my first and last name. But then again, people look up Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake. I don't know if they still look up Timberlake, but if I
Are those names fake? Is
those
Justin
are
Bieber like his actual name, or
yeah.
oh,
He's actually Bieber.
was he originally that, or did they change their
He
names?
he, he was originally a Bieber, yeah.
Huh.
But I mean, like just like Justin, people probably look that up, and if I can, so if you put Justin Leck in, I actually come up. Like my piano
Oh,
comes
yeah.
up. Now there's some vendor Lecks out there too, but no,
I
it's
think usernames, like everybody knows, like any popular creator, people know their actual name, I guess, but usernames are pretty popular. They're like a pretty convenient way to brand around a username, and it's like a easy tag to say, and then the actual name is just kind of like for has less value, I guess.
yeah. So that book, the 4 Hour Work Week, that was
Yeah,
talking about last time. You remember that?
yeah.
So I haven't read it at all. 0 pages this last week. But
Mhm.
one thing it was talking about last time I read it was about creating your own business and not ever touching a product and it basically running itself. So that was the theme over 10 years ago when the book was produced. And I don't know if it's because Facebook can somehow read my mind at a distance, but now I'm getting all these ads for like these automated Amazon seller workshops, which is fascinating. Now, I'm skeptical. I have a healthy amount of skepticism because of, everybody wants to fuck everybody and take their money. But I am curious because it's not too good to be true. It isn't impossible to automate your business, to like create your own automated business and just sell a bunch of products that are popular. And I see it with like this ginger hair growth stuff. Now it's all fucking bullshit when you look at it. I mean, they use images from people who got hair transplants and
Yeah.
like I know it's garbage because I've done my checks. But when you go on Amazon, Amazon still sells this shit. And there's still ratings. People still rate it good. They're like, "Oh, I love the way it smells. I like the way it feels on my hair." Don't know if it grows hair, but still a nice product. And I see like all these different vendors, different names, different costs, and that's what they've done. They've gone to the same person, like China, same place in China, to have it cheaply manufactured. They have it distributed, and then they pocket the rest.
Yeah,
And
like maybe
there's
they
a
are getting banned. Yeah, you never know. Like maybe they are getting banned, and that's why there's like they have to keep like making new vendors and buying reviews to
or it's
stay afloat.
legit, and you just got people who piggyback off of other people's initiative. And that's what this one dude on Facebook said to do. He's like, "Okay, there's basically a 10-step process. Here's the first 5 steps. I'll tell you right here." And he's like, "You look at a product, You look at something that any product, just type something in: pig, dog, toy. Well, there's a piggy, indestructible pig dog
Yeah.
toy actually popped up, and he's like, okay. So you look at this. You look at the 4-star rated that don't have a lot of ratings, like maybe 50. You look at the ones that have on average 4 stars, and you look at where it can be improved upon. And then you go to Alibaba or Alabama or Alibabas or something, which is a company that makes these things. And you're like, hey, can you make this product but with, these adjustments? And they'll make it for a cheap price. And then the guy talks about, having it delivered and putting it on Amazon and things like that. And so you take a product that's already has a market. And this is something that I got from that 4-Hour Workweek book. Is that you don't create a product and you determine if there's a market. You find the market, you create the product for the market. So there's a market for this dog toy. Now you just you copy fucking paste. If it's not, I don't know if it's trademarked or what, but you just copy paste and improve it. And then you indicate the differences in the description and people buy and rate. And, it could be a $5 profit per an item. And if you sell 50,000, that's a shit ton of money, man. That's a shit ton of money. And that's just one product. And when you actually think about it, sure, there's an initial up cost front. There's a bit of coordination that's required. You don't have to actually hold on to any product. All you have to do is set up as a middle person this business, this transaction. And you can make tons of money. And you do that for multiple products, you could have millions of dollars, and it's all automated and super easy.
I was kind of wondering about that. I didn't find a good solution just in the brief searching I did. I found you can order 100 keychains, for example, from this company, and then there's another company that will store a certain amount of product in their warehouse for you, and then they'll also ship it out for you if you get orders. But then you have to pay for all that stuff up front, and then so you're trying to make back some of the money by selling the stuff. But yeah, I have heard that Alibaba is the Asian version of Amazon, but Alibaba also, in addition to being an Amazon store, it also has services where they'll make a product for you. And then someone had pitched Alibaba as the full service thing where you can pitch a new idea, run a crowdfunding, make an order to have the product built, host it in their store. They'll put it in their warehouse for you and ship it. And you have to pay for all those services, but it's one company that will let you sort of do the full range of everything.
Right? So yeah. They've made this easy. They'll get tons of money from you, but it's really the customer that's paying. So as long as there's a market and people are paying money, everybody's going to get a piece of the pie. You just have to set it up. So there's a little bit of risk, but the risk goes down if you already find a product that has a market and you improve upon it. I
guess there's two interesting side things. One is if it works fully automated, then it should also work manual. And so then as an initial step, it's almost if the idea should work in a fully automated way, then it's almost a trial thing you could do is trying to do it manually first, just to proof of concept, then make it automated. And the other one maybe is could you just put an idea on Kickstarter, and then theoretically people should go fund the Kickstarter if they like the idea before you even have to make it or something.
Well, yeah, I was looking for this chess set, and it basically is a minimalist chess set that collapses in on itself. Every single piece fits on one another, and it it rolls up really nice with this leather chessboard. Really, really lightweight, metal, durable, great for traveling, great for backpacking. And I saw this thing, and they have a plastic, they have a metal, they have this deluxe. And I'm like, fucking sign me up for this. Where can I find this thing? And it was just a Kickstarter. It was an idea, and
Mm.
The product isn't out there anymore. It's just like shit. But when you think of like a lot of work went into that, creating a product from scratch, a lot of work goes into that. What I got from this quick little video is that you don't need to create a product from scratch. You just take an existing item that already has a market and copy paste.
Yeah, if you can find like a factory where you just like send them a design or like configure it, they make it, then you need to find like either like a connected thing or a separate company that will like store the physical thing for you, and then like you maybe you get a storefront on one of these like stores like Amazon or Alibaba, and then when people order, it should be like a pipeline where like they order, it ships from the warehouse, and then you never have to see any. You don't have to have like a bunch of physical product in your house.
Or Alibaba does it all for you, and it's on Amazon.
Yeah, stuff like that chess set is a good example because specifically for chess sets, like occasionally I will see like I have this vision of like I just want like a cloth rag with a chessboard drawn on it, and then a set of coins or pieces or whatever, like stone pieces that I put in a bag, and that would be like my chess set, like this very thin cloth rag that just like a bandana almost with a chessboard on it, and then like a set of coins for the pieces or something, or like slightly better than coins. And that's kind of the product that I want, and I have never seen that, but it would be like fairly, if I could just find someone that would like make custom coins for me, I could make like chess piece coins and then get someone to like uh use some kind of manufacturing to like draw on a bandana, like print out the chessboard. And I feel like that would be like a, like if I just had, it just sucks that in my experience, like in North America and stuff, there isn't like, you can't just like get online, click a few buttons and set up that whole pipeline. You have to actually like pick up the phone, call someone, like make an order, spend like $500, like call this other company, like prepay for like a pallet for like 1 month in their warehouse. And it just feels like too annoying to set up. But it'd be nice if it was just all like seamless and it fit together well and everything.
For your own product. Yeah.
Yeah, or like, yeah, for whatever, yeah.
But like what
Yeah,
I'm
'cause I
saying
started
is that
thinking,
like
yeah.
not your own product. You can have all that and not have to touch a product or like do all that setup. Well, there's the initial setup, but it's like it's all facilitated, it's all easy. But like if you had your own product, yeah, that'd be different.
Yeah, I guess it's like, I guess you're talking more like you find someone who is making a product and you find the market and you connect the two kind of. But it always is nice, like one step further, where if you truly could sort of customize your own version of the product, like in a deep way, that sort of satisfies like the creativity part of you, instead of just like being a reseller. You could actually be sort of like a creator also and put your own like spin on stuff, rather than just kind of like choosing from like the small set of options that maybe they have like pre-configured. Like 3D printing and stuff makes that kind of possible. Like if you just, anything that you could design in 3D, you can sort of 3D print, and then it's kind of neat to think like, does that mean we could just make whatever we want like in an automated way?
Can you see that last part again? Sorry, man. Like I just got an email from my property
Right.
manager there.
Yeah, just
I'm gonna
that,
shut her
like
down.
like 3D printing. Like
Yeah.
basically if there was just like a factory somewhere with a bunch of like 3D printers in it, like just waiting for people to place orders. And if you could just say like, here's a design, like 3D print like 200 of these things, and then send them to this other place, and they would just like spin up all their 3D printers, like print this totally arbitrary design, whatever you want. Maybe they could even print with like metal, print with plastic, and then like ship it off, and then it gets stored somewhere where you're ready to like sell it.
Print with solid fucking gold. 24 karat.
It would be cool if it was like one off. Like you didn't have to order like a batch of like 100. You could just like, when an order is placed, it's printed in that moment and then shipped. And so
That
like
could be arranged, buddy. That could be arranged, especially for like precious metal items. If they have the ability to print gold, oof. I don't know how they would do that though. But I mean, if they can print metal, they can print gold. Gold is metal,
it's just like
so
some
it's
kind of liquid metal that like flows and then hardens or something. Or actually, what they do, I think sometimes they 3D. Actually, I think they have like a block of metal, and then they use something to like carve out the mold, and then they pour metal into the mold to like make the thing, I guess.
Do you think there'd be a market for gold and silver chess pieces? I don't know, man. I don't know if rich people play chess.
I think right now the most expensive chess piece are like hand carved wooden ones that are like they're like carved by this small shop in like Israel or something, and then they're like weighted very precisely so that like and it's like the ones that like all the high level tournaments are played with. It's these like wooden pieces that have like a very like fine like tolerance and like a weight to them and stuff. And they're made out of like something called like Staunton or something like that. That's the type of wood.
Interesting. Finding the markets, man. It's finding the markets. I mean, rich people just want to fucking buy any and everything that they can, any of the nice shit. So it's like,
yeah, if you can just take like any product and then convince people that it's like magical in some way, like that could be your thing. You could be called Mana, and you just sell like whatever, like sell like all the basic needs, like look up on like whatever sells the highest quantity on Amazon, and then just make like a magic version of that thing, and it's like the same thing, but like it has magic.
Here's one: minimalist products. I go and I sell minimalist products because like this is one thing that comes to mind. So let's say if you're not completely fucking crazy and gonna break away and shred all your credit cards and ID and stuff, you know, a minimalist is gonna still need some sort of money clip, right? So why not come up with my own custom money clip? I know there's thousands of variations out there, but the Mana minimalist money clip, like I have
those are really appealing too. Like that would be like a really good idea, even though there's like 1,000. You know, it's like.
But you know what mine is? Do you know what my minimalist clip is that I use right now? It is the backing of my garage opener, and it fucking works like a charm. I could just get a bunch of backings to garage openers, carve in Mana to it, and sell them as a minimalist fucking money clip. It does
you
everything.
Can also brand it as like you could say recycled metal because it's technically like from a different product, and so people are like, oh, recycled, like that's good for the environment. And
sustainable. Yeah, it doesn't have to be metal. It could be some sort of bamboo or something. Like, and that's the thing is like I can get different materials and.
It is fun to have like a product that used to be something else, and it's kind of like a fun thing. Like if people can recognize it too, they'll be like, "Oh, is that like a TV remote?" And you're like, "No, it's like a money clip."
Yeah, this because I've always wanted something that was simple, and I have all my cards, and if I want to like put money in it, then I just roll the money up and I put it between two cards. Pretty simple. Like it's really, really, really simple. I mean,
you could make like a really like an Apple style like minimalist video showing like a tutorial. Like if you want to put money in the Mana wallet, then here's how you do it. You like roll it up, and people are like, oh, like start like training them.
Just make it. I just have to have some.
Get a nice piano tune in the background.
Sure.
As you demo.
Just have some fancy. It's all about quality of your advertising. You know, state of the art advertising. They click on it. It demonstrates what to do. It's the simplest product, but I mean, like, make it look fancy. So that's what like really draws people in.
You could sell like stickers too that like fit on the Mana money clip, and so people could buy their own like sticker. And like,
collage it up.
Customize it. Yeah.
See, that's it though. It could be a simple design. I think wood is beautiful, just the way the grains are, the way it looks. And when you're high on mushrooms, they're kind of trippy too. Like they kind of move and shit. But like I have a wood belt buckle, and simple carving. It's genuine because trees, and this is how I can sell it: minimalist, sustainable. I guess that can be argued because it is from trees, but genuine, one of a kind, because they're not going to be able to get one just like it because of the grains, or the way the pattern is. But then again, it's like, how do you create a money clip out of wood and it not break? Because it needs to have some sort of tensile force in order to keep the two ends together.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is an idea. Could be a piece of wood that's bent around the metal, glued to it. Now we're just getting fancy. Kind of defeats the whole idea of minimalism. No, it doesn't. What am I saying?
Yeah, there's probably a way to. I think I've seen like some kind of design for something like that. I don't know if it was totally wood or not.
But that's the thing, is like, this has a lot of potential because you have different designs. I have a rainbow design in my mind. I have a bling design I'm thinking about. Could have like a black carbon design. So all the colors of the rainbow: matte black, shiny black, silver, gold, made of real gold, real silver.
Real
Yeah,
gold
probably.
and silver seem like a luxury.
Yeah,
I guess that's good.
gold plated. I think real gold would be too bendable.
You could think of like some fancier name for wood and then market it as like premium wood or something, but like some better name. Like wood from like some magical forest.
Oh, it'd be from British
Enchanted wood.
Columbia. Be from
Uh,
Vancouver Island.
yeah, that's pretty
Vancouver
good
Island
branding there.
sourced wood. Yeah, could be driftwood.
And then like,
So
but the truth is like you sourced the wood on the internet from British Columbia, and like it's not actually wood from. It's just like wood that was searched online from this location.
I know better than to lie. It'd have to be all true.
You
Don't
say
want a
like wood
lawsuit.
from earth wood, wood from earth.
No, but like BC driftwood, you're repurposing
Yeah.
it. I know that you're not supposed to remove driftwood, but I did come across a documentary where the people do, and they sell it for tons of fucking money. So how do they get the permit to do that? I don't know. But if I could go around picking up small pieces of driftwood, having a little carpentry shop, this stuff is like tough.
Now you're
I
getting
mean,
hands on though. Now you're that's fine, but like then it wouldn't be automated if that was the goal.
oh shit.
You need to hire somebody to hire someone to walk around and then hire another person to use
Yeah, but
their.
now we're talking about like having an artistic product that that represents us.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Is like if you got started that way, like you make this driftwood wallet by getting the wood yourself and doing it in your shop, and then when it starts to pick up, then you switch to like automation, and maybe you do some different designs, do some different wood wherever you can get it, and then it becomes like fully automated. But like basically like starting out as like this small shop, like bespoke wallets, like all unique. That seems like a good way to like get started and get a feel for it, and then transition to automated
Did you
once
just
you
say
got customer.
spoke wallets?
Like bespoke, I guess. Just I think that means
Bespoke
like
wallets.
unique.
I
Bespoke, I
like that.
think. Does that
That
mean bespoke means like handmade, like uniquely or something, or
I don't even know what it means, but I like how it sounds, and that's what matters for a peripheral buyer. Bespoke wallets. Get your bespoke wallet. I like it. I might just steal that, man. Bespoke wallet.
I think that would be a common word, like from in, like if you go to like a farmer's market and you're like looking at like wallets and stuff, then they all have like the same like sustainable, unique, bespoke, handmade, handcrafted. There's a bunch of like handmade jewelry that's like popular for some reason.
Yeah, my brother's wife's doing that. Yeah. I used to be terrified of like trying to start my own thing. Oh, I probably could do it. maybe not, don't know. And fear would hold me back. But now it's like, it's not impossible. Just got to put the time in. It's learning from people that know. And creating a product and then seeing if it's a market is backwards. Determining if there's a market and then creating a product for that market. And people will always have money or cards or credit cards. So there's always going to be a market for wallets. So that makes sense to me. And then if I can think of like other minimalistic type things, I can go with that theme.
Just today, I learned about a hat company, like a running hat. Like it was just it's a regular hat, but it's for running. And it was a company started like 2 or 3 years ago in Montreal. And they were like runners, like people that just go for runs with running shoes. And they decided that like they couldn't really find like a good hat to wear when running. And so they designed their own, which was just, it looks like a regular hat. It's just like lighter weight material and it's got like a plastic clip on the back. And now they're like an internationally like recognized brand apparently, and they're doing really well. And so that's kind of like, that was an example of like an existing market, like hats. And then there's kind of like a shortage these days about like hats for athletic wear, like for runners. And so they just made like specifically just this hat that was like good for running in because it's lightweight. And then they kind of just like grew really fast from there. So that's kind of like, yeah.
So they looked at a market that already existed, found a gap, and then they filled the gap.
Yeah, and then
that's the way to do it.
It becomes like, that's what I like too. Like I love finding products like that where it's like a company that builds a product like exclusively for like the thing that I want. Like I want a hat for running, and this company makes like a hat for running, and that's like one of the only things they make. And then now they've expanded to like other clothing, but it's nice to find a company where it's like the exact need that I have, they sell like a product for that. And then I feel like, whenever my hat gets old, I'll just order another hat from them. So they have like sort of a repeat customer, and must be nice to like stumble upon a business idea like that where you can just like you kind of feel like you're helping people like fill their need and doing it like in a direct way or something.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah, for me, it's like, because I have this like wooden square that I got from my old apartment when I signed the lease. They gave me like a little wooden keychain, and I put that on my keys, and I kind of like it now. Like it makes the keys easier to hold, and it's just a wooden like square, and it's lightweight. It's like nice to hold, but now it's like getting old. And so I was thinking like, I want to buy another keychain, but so many keychains are just like really cheap and crappy. I want like a metal, like a nice weighty like metal coin, or another piece of wood, like a nice carved wood design. And I can't really find one. So I started thinking like I could easily make this. Like if I found like a provider that just would let me give them like a design, and then they make the wooden keychain for me. And then I could just have a website where people place orders, and every time I get 100 orders, I like send off a batch or something. It would be nice to do that, but I couldn't really set that up. I couldn't find like any, I don't know. You just find a lot of providers that they only make like dumb looking keychains, and they don't really let you like submit your own totally custom design, or like it's too expensive. But I guess I could find one if I looked harder. But so those things, like I feel like people like even as however many keychains there are, like people are not doing keychains right. They're not doing like hats right. Only recently I found a good company that's doing like socks, but they don't even sell like great colors. Like if you just make socks and you make them like better colors than socks today, then there's a bit, it's like, so like socks, hat, keychain, money clip, like all these things we're talking about, like just like, and then tote bags. Like if you look at any tote bag, the design is not good. And it's like, but if you just take any tote bag and you start removing elements from it until it's like more minimalist, it would look nice. So even like tote bags. And I'm sure there's like a company that will make tote bags, and if you just give them like a design that looks nice, like a nice like 3-tone mountain or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can like you basically can never find that. Like it's so hard. If you start searching for like a cloth tote bag that with a nice design, you'll never find one that has a cute cat on it. But it like take a picture of a cute cat, put it on a tote bag. Now you have the one tote bag in the entire world that has a nice design on it for some reason. Like no one has put a nice design on a tote bag yet. It's really kind of weird.
You know, there's always a market for cats, right?
Yeah, there's so many like now you could just have like AI generate like a nice cat silhouette. Uh, Even do
Yep.
some kind of like custom embroidery or something.
Anything cats. Cat magnets with their butts coming out of the fridge. Apparently, like people love that shit too.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a sort of this like world of potential. Like, all these people, I guess the 4 hour work week and stuff, they're talking about like doing it before it becomes easy, which is where it's profitable. Like, I feel like soon, maybe in another 10 years or so, where it's going to be like really easy to like sit at your computer and just spin up like a factory and make physical products and ship them all over the world like without doing anything. And then everybody can do it. But right now it's like it's kind of possible. You have to like put some work into it, maintain it a little bit, but in the end it could be like fully automated, but it's like you got to know the right people in the right places and maybe
Do you know
invest
why?
in capital upfront.
Do you know why it's possible, Richard? This whole
Why?
idea of automating your thing. It's because you got people like me who see it and are skeptical and don't lift a finger to do it. It is totally doable, but I'm educated. I have a career. I make 6 figures a year. And I look at this and I'm skeptical. At my age, don't want to take on any risks, don't want to do anything new. And it's because not everybody's doing it that it is doable.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah,
got a lot of,
yeah.
if you got most people that are like reluctant to start something new, then yeah, you got all these people trying to sell this shit on Facebook, and they're gonna pick up 50,000 people. And these 50,000 people could make $20 million a year after a few years of work setting up. But that's a small drop in the bucket. 50,000 times 20 million. That's not a lot of money when you look at like a country's how much money is in a country or circulates the economy, right? So even though these people are putting this model out there and making money off this model, I don't see the model going away. I don't see it not being relevant. And just if anything, it's gonna make Amazon unfucking touchable.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of like when the iPhone first came out, there was like it was kind of hard to make an app and get it on the phone, but anybody who did it, they could sell their app for like $3 or $1, and there was not that many apps in the store, so like it would make a lot of money. And like now it's really easy to make an app and it's like the market is flooded and nobody's really making that much money. But it's like this idea of like if something's like hard to do, then if you do it, then you're one of the only ones who can offer the product and you have the whole market. But then if you like wait too long until it's easy, then everybody's doing it and the market's like crowded.
Yeah. Yeah. And this idea of automating your own business was out 10 years ago. It might start getting crowded. That's why it's better to jump on it sooner than later.
Yeah, I would expect like I think the way like factories work, they have to build like an assembly line. They have to build like molds around the product they're making, and so they can only offer like limited product. And if you want them to make like a different product, they have to spend time like reconfiguring their machines, and so it costs money. So you have to like pay for that setting up of the assembly line. But now like with something like 3D printing, there's no setup time. It's just like you put the printer there, that's it, and then whatever design you give the printer, it'll just print it. And so then there's no like setup cost for the factory to like pivot to a new product. And so once we start getting like more like 3D printing factories, we'll be able to just like request like one totally custom product, and it'll be like it could just be offered for like a cheap price, like $1, because they'd print it like any other part they would print. There's no like they don't have to reconfigure anything. And I feel like that's when it'll take off. Like everyone can sort of just go on a website and create your product and then have it made. Because now, like I've heard that, like NASA, for example, like different rockets and stuff, they they 3D print like parts for their rocket that they like send into space, like just little like various clips, and I don't know if they do screws or not, but like all these little components that are just like custom shaped pieces of plastic and stuff like that. They'll 3D print like all those components. And I guess so that's like at least like, there's like this like real world application companies that are having components 3D printed. So I guess the factories will like rise to meet that demand of this need to 3D print, and then we'll also be able to buy stuff from those factories.
Yeah, I think they're gonna make it so that they can 3D print replacement parts up in space as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they were looking at that. Eventually, they'll have food replicators, like in Star Trek.
Yeah, I guess like yeah, you could 3D print boba maybe. Just have like a vat of boba. That's actually kind of
Yeah,
easy. Like you just pour the tea and then you just like drop the boba in, so there's no real printing. But yeah, that's what I actually want, is a boba machine in my house.
boba.
But you gotta boba is actually like tapioca is like some kind of like little balls of like potato-y stuff, and you have to like boil it to make it like turn into gelatin, and so there's actually like a boiling step. But if I had a boba machine that would just, I need a machine that like boils it for the exact right amount of time, because if you boil it like too long or too short, it's like too chewy or too like soft. And so there's like a certain amount of heat and boiling time that is ideal to make it the right consistency. And I need like a machine to do that for me.
The boba machine.
Just press a button, because it has to make the tea, make black tea, add milk, cool the tea down, then like put the freeze dried boba in water, boil it, maybe mix it with sugar, simmer it, and then mix everything together. And if it could just do that at the push of a button, that'd be good.
Yeah. Huh.
Or I would accept if I could like open my window and like a drone would like fly in and deliver me a tea.
That would probably be the future, my friend.
Yeah, I've heard that it's been difficult for these companies to get like the permission to fly in the air. Like cities have very tight limits about like what can be flying in different regions around airports and stuff. And that's the challenge. That's why they haven't done like drone package delivery yet.
Yeah, I see the planes and drones being an issue. Like for at least takeoff and landing. But I mean, that could be a restricted zone that's put into the drones. So if you live in the restricted zones, the drones could stay at low altitude, though. Altitude. I do think they are the future. I mean, if you want to put your money into something, I'd put it in the drones. Seriously, it's only a matter of time.
I would like to be able to like. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I keep cutting you off.
Oh no worries. I think we're cutting each other off. We don't.
Okay, I'll go first. So, I had a hunch about Bitcoin before it became big. I have a hunch about like 2014.
Oh yeah.
I had a hunch about it. I watched a documentary.
Actually, that's a good example. Not to interrupt, but like Bitcoin is a good example of like it was actually really hard to buy Bitcoin for a while. And if you bought it when it was like hard to buy, that was a good time. But then when it became like easy to buy it, it was like kind of too late. Like everyone was buying it. That's another thing where it's like if you invest going through the process, then it pays off.
Yeah. And we can't predict the future, right? But like Explained, the documentary talked about cryptocurrency and the potential that it has. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that sounds like something I should get into. And before that, I had a friend that was setting up, like he was doing mining. He had surfers and stuff while on course in Borden.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking hardcore, if you ask me.
The
And
electricity was free.
yeah, and he's probably like living on some sort of remote island that he owns at this point in time. Out of the military, living the best life. He probably cashed out when it was high. And it's just
might still go higher though. You never know.
I don't. I think it just flopped. I think it's flopped.
If he didn't cash, he might be able to get his own planet when it goes back.
Maybe in a few generations, I think it will go back up. Or if companies start pivoting to accept it,
right? Yeah.
Then it has potential, because then you see all these companies are like, oh, we'll give you some cryptocurrency, some Bitcoin if you do this. This is how we reward you. Because maybe they are trying to create a foothold for it. Because they're offering it as a reward, but rewards are usually just fucking points. So right now, in my mind, cryptocurrency is just like, they're just points, and you can collect them, and you might be able to exchange them for something, but they're not currency. They have value because the other people on that network give it power, or give it money, give it value rather, but it really doesn't. It isn't worth anything. Now, people would argue that it's worth something because it can't be touched by the government, or not affected by inflation. There's only so many to go around that are released periodically, but then are all fucking mined up by the whales, mind you. But it could very well be it likely is going to be the currency of the future, considering what we've seen happen with our money here. Out of fucking control. Blows my mind. I'm angry. And if I'm angry and I make six figures, I guarantee you people who are making 50,000 are real angry. And they're questioning their existence and what the fuck they're doing. Because, I mean, like, if you're working your ass off every day, I mean, you think about it. What are people, what's the middle class, what are the poor people doing? They're working, they're laboring in order to make the super wealthy people even wealthier, right? They are enabling the dream where the one person or a few people on the board don't have to work and everybody else does the work for them. They're basically the 4-hour work week, big company, large scale. Yeah. Like they are the concept. That's what a business is. If you can be at the very top and don't have to touch anything, so being an owner and hands off, you just reap the benefits. And that's what all these people are doing. They're working their fucking asses off to make these guys cajillionaires. And if all these people are doing all this work and they're like, well, I'm not even able to pay the bills because minimum wage is so low, or because the cost of living is so high, even though that, these guys are trying to pay me well, but because inflation, things keep going up, and because the government's so fucking incompetent and handing our money out like Halloween candy on every day of the year, including Halloween, to Ukraine, to anybody who fucking asks. Dude, I can't say it on here, but the amount of, like, the specifics, but the amount of money the military is given our current strength and our gaps, which I won't quantify, blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, that seems to be mirrored in many countries. Like, that's like a global phenomenon almost, is like why, like, if you look at like American military spending, like, it doesn't make any sense for like what the return on investment for the country is, like, not much. Better to spend it on like schooling or something.
So all that to say is, I think people will lose faith in currency, because the only reason why a currency has value is because we believe it has value, because we believe in the government, that is the authority and controls it. Well, the banks control it, but you know what I mean. Like, civilization exists because we believe it. We believe in the laws. We believe in justice. We believe that there are forces that will keep us safe, which is, we are safe and secure, which allows commerce and allows consumerism, capitalism. I mean, you can't have that if your area is unsafe or if people are getting blown up all the time. No one's going to want to invest in those areas. So, I mean, people believe, and so it exists, and so it's real. Really think about it. Civilization, all make-believe. We believed it, and over time it came to be, and it just is now. We're so... You're probably like, what the fuck is he talking about? And anybody listening is like, this guy's cracked out. But you really follow the history of our species and how civilization came to be. It was a common belief in some sort of eternal godlike figure or multiple gods, and it's by this common belief and this entity that strangers were able to unite, and we were able to form groups over 150, which beforehand was impossible to do. 150 was our limit according to psychology, because that was the max that we could keep track of using rumors. And once we had God or gods or religion, I'm not sure if you're religious, then we were able to believe in something and then trust each other. And that's how we were able to work together and eventually form civilization. Through belief. And then, these self-appointed monarchs, just think about it. What they did was they took advantage of the agricultural revolution and all the farmers out there. Farmers needed protection because their crops or their product was vulnerable. They were stationary and they were unprotected. And so, like, these entrepreneurs, I don't know if I'd call them entrepreneurs at this point in time, but these individuals saw an opportunity. They're like, okay, well, I'm going to mobilize a force of people. I'm going to protect you. It's going to cost you this. We're going to, you're going to give us this tax, money, food, and we will protect you. Next thing you know, they put up walls. They create towns, or villages, towns, castles. And then they are appointed by God in order to be the king. And their power is absolute because they're appointed by God. And you got the bishops and religion that's created with a local religion. And then, you see what I mean? Like, and it's because of belief. And if you didn't believe in God or the king, you'd be lynched.
Yeah, it
Because you
was
didn't
like
conform.
like their policy was kind of self-protection in that sense. Like, that's all the only thing they have is like everyone just buying into the system. So if you question the system at all, then like they have to get rid of you, or else it threatens like their ability to stay in power.
Exactly. And it's happened. Monarchs have been overthrown. People come to their senses. But eventually we have democracy. But even this is sort of an illusion. We think we have...
Like the whole like that's why we're maybe giving money to Ukraine, is because like there is like a guy that like Putin kind of like trying to be like not a monarch, but like the one guy who's self-appointed and just kind of extend his power. And we're sort of trying to fight back against that because we know it's not the direction we want to move in, basically.
Yeah, from what I heard, what we're doing is we're just giving Ukraine everything to wear down Russia. So Russia is no longer a concern. Because they've been pretty fucking useless on the battlefield. Now, I'm not there to see it, but that's what I gathered. They're disorganized. They don't want to be there, the troops.
Yeah, that would actually, that's kind of nice. Like, I would hope that most of the Russian soldiers don't really believe in the cause and are not really willing to fight very hard. And that actually is how they can sort of help the cause, like by just, quote unquote, being members of the Russian army, but not really doing anything. That's how they can help us win. Even though they're technically on the other side, they can still like act in our favor.
Even if they are trying, just the fact that they're constantly in combat, and we're putting all our resources behind the Ukraine. We are we're wearing down Russia. So then we can just focus on China, which, yeah, we won't go into that.
Well, that's
You
the
know,
next thing, I guess, is because, like, yeah, like Russia going after Ukraine is the same as like China going after Taiwan, and I guess sort of the world wants to send the message that like let's not like start every country going after whatever other country it wants. Like let's just say that that's not allowed, and everybody just stay inside your own country and like
that's not
each
happening.
other.
No,
Yeah.
China is going after everybody. You just don't see it. It's economic warfare.
Yeah, economics definitely. Yeah, they like bought a bunch. They bought a bunch of mines like in Africa or something. They own like all these. There's a certain type of metal they own, like cobalt or something. They own like all the cobalt mines in Africa. And then there's like there isn't like many more of those mines apparently.
Isn't that used in batteries?
Yeah, it's like I think that's a pretty bad thing. Like people say like America probably should have bought some of those mines when they were on the market instead of like letting China buy all of them. But like people say America just totally missed that opportunity to at least own some of them.
Yeah. So there was a game I played called Dune 2000, and you got your three houses: Atreides, Harkonnen, and some sort of like their mascot was a snake, some sort of robotic race. I forget.
Is this like the
And
Dune universe?
which one?
Like you said, Dune 2000. Is it based off of
It's a
Dune, the novel?
it's based off that universe, and spice and all that stuff's in it too, right? So basically, it's like a tactics game. Absolutely love it, and I would buy it today and play it on PlayStation if I could. I mean, it is a PlayStation game. Fuck, man. Sometimes I make my army so big that I would break the game. It wouldn't be able to like render. Uh, but so when I would play the campaign, there's a reason to this story. You could just fight tanks, and every tank would have its weakness and have its strength, like rock paper scissors kind of thing. Like the siege tank would be good against buildings and good at killing troops. The normal tank would be good at killing the siege tank, and then the missile tank would be good at killing the normal tank. But then I think the siege tank can take out the missile tank. You get the idea, right? So I mean, you can control sections or individual tanks. You can create squads of tanks. You can create squads of troops, individual troops, and you would fight each other. You would try to kill each other's base or do certain missions. Anyway, you could build something called, or train a soldier called a saboteur. And what I would do is I would have a saboteur too, and I would have an attack, and I would, distract an enemy, take up all the resources, shoot or tie up all the resources in one area, and I would send my little saboteur in from an area that doesn't have a gun turret protecting its walls or something like that. And the saboteur would then take one of the buildings of the enemy base, and then I would build concrete because now I own that building, and then I would destroy the building, but I would own the concrete. That's my land now. I own it. Now I have the ability to build buildings in the enemy's territory. And so I would build a barrack, and I would quickly produce saboteurs, as many as I can before they would attack the base. And then I'd send the saboteurs out, and I would take out their key buildings, their tank building, their troop building. I would take out their command, and just fucking build concrete and delete it unless they destroy it. Wash and repeat until there is nothing left of the enemy base. This is what China is doing to us.
Exactly that. They found that game. They're using the same strategy.
They probably built the game. Dude, this is what they're doing to us. And
Yeah, they built TikTok at least. I don't know how true it is that that is a spy weapon, but there was concerns that like we're all addicted to TikTok, and then we're not we're not gonna get well educated because we're just dancing on TikTok our whole lives, and then
We're just dancing on TikTok. It's what everybody is doing. It's banned on government phones now. Can't download it on my work phone. I should try. See if I
you could be the only one on TikTok.
they fucking claw me in, get me in trouble. So China's setting up for something, and they're not going to just start attacking one country. And if they do, I'd be very surprised. I'd be very, very surprised. It's just going to be they have all their infrastructure. They've done everything they're supposed to do. They've prepped for this big flip, I'll call it. They flick a switch, and then all of a sudden, China owns the world. Like they're just going to flick a switch, and our currency is going to fail, and they are going to take over. Our governments will collapse. They'll probably cite a bunch of civil wars. I don't know. Maybe that's what they'll do with the States. Maybe that's the plan with the States. Maybe they. Anyway, I'm going off the deep end with that. The States are probably just doing it to themselves.
Yeah, probably.
They are just unable to have the hard conversations without veering off in another direction. Like they're completely polarized. They're unable to have the hard discussions to come to an understanding. It's one way or another. There's no compromise, and that way of thinking is not good, especially when it comes to politics. So I think they're going to end up turning on each other, which would not be good for us.
Unless we could make a super intelligent AI that's like also benevolent and saves the whole, just like makes everything work. And also
Reminds me of
if like we're the only country that makes it, like we make it but no other country has it, and then that becomes like our way that we can maintain the world order. Like just America can stay ahead and sort of keep things generally free by relying on this super intelligent AI that just like gets us
the AI would immediately wipe us all out, right?
Yeah, that's the concern, is it's going to go one way or the other, I guess.
It would wipe us out.
How do you think it would do it?
How would it do it?
There's a lot
could be a Skynet scenario.
I guess, yeah, like all the water would shut off, like we'd have no electricity, the internet would shut off. Then we would just kind of like
you take away power. You take away power, our civilization stops.
Yeah, it would basically, all it has to do is like introduce a bug into like a power plant, and then by the time we fix it, like it's been like a month and nobody has power.
Yeah. And like if a lot of our economy is on the internet, crashing the internet, if that is possible. I know there's lots of separate servers out there, but there are different ways. You know, crashing the currency, stopping power, and let's let humanity destroy itself.
Maybe if you play exactly the right song, it will change its mind, and then stop destroying us and like become good.
Even if it saw what it's like to be human, and you know, our ability to love and have empathy, it's still gonna wipe us out. We are parasite on this planet. We are destroying everything. So I watched a movie called Mother, and I really wish it was a series. I really.
Yeah, I read the plot of that movie, I think. I don't think I watched it.
So good. Yeah, basically.
Oh yeah, you like there's like it's ambiguous at some point, like you don't know who to trust or whatever. And yeah, and then even I think the ending is also ambiguous from what I remember. Like you're not really sure like who's good or evil or who's gonna live or die.
Well, spoiler alert. So yeah, the mother created everything. It wanted to have a purpose, and it wanted to create everything for a new perfected people. It needed to have purpose instead of just existing. So that's why Our Lady, main protagonist there, was created. But she is just fucking cattle at this point in time. As long as she passed her test, she's good to go. I mean, but if she doesn't pass her test, Mother would just fucking kill her.
I think
So
they hint at that somehow. There's like a graveyard or something, like cremated.
I think she would just be replaced, yeah, with the next generation. But Mother wiped everything out. Mother was at least trying to wipe everything out with its warrior robots, but all connected to the same mind. It's a hive mind. So I see an AI doing that, and I don't see there being multiple AI. I see there being one AI, and there being a hive mind, and every robot being an extension of that one AI. I don't see there being multiple.
That'd be nice if it would like scan all of our brains before it kills us and upload all of us, so we could live in like a little sandbox online environment.
You mean like Black Mirror type thing?
I don't know if
Re-
I didn't watch really any Black Mirror episodes, but is there one
oh
where like
yeah,
everybody
yeah.
gets to live in a simulation? But it's
You get to
I think could go positive. Like it could be like a utopia sort of thing. It doesn't need to go like horribly wrong.
yeah. I don't see AI. If we truly give it free will, I don't see it keeping us around.
Yeah, it would be hard to like even if we like really smartly programmed it. I don't know why would it conclude like that it's a good idea to keep us around? It seems very like it's only because like we're us, we're alive. That's why we want to continue living. But in the grand scheme of things, there's no like real reason why that needs to happen or how like we wouldn't even know. Like if it's this instant painless death, then like nobody would even realize that. No one would suffer at all or whatever. So it seems like very hard to avoid concluding that like that would not be good or bad. It would just be a thing that happened. Especially if we scan the minds and we get to live in a simulation.
Probably would be merciful, but I don't know if it would do that.
There's a question though, which is like it's a question that arises regarding like teleportation, where like one way to teleport is to do a full scan of like a body and then 3D print like a clone of that body somewhere else and then destroy the first body. And then you basically like yourself with all your memories exists, but as a clone. And so your consciousness flow that we experience now in our own body would like come to an end. And then someone who's identical to you would continue living somewhere else. And so from our perspective, being ourselves currently, like we would basically die, but then a clone would take our place. But any external observer would not know the difference. It would just be us that like one of our brains would end and then another duplicate would continue. But it would be nice if we could solve this problem of like transferring the consciousness flow where like instead of one clone dying and the other one continuing in our place, it would be our actual like stream of thoughts would translate to the other head, and then we would pick up like, so there'd be no, like from the perspective of no brain would there be a death. It would just be like we sort of like have this out of body experience, drift over to the other body and then pick up over there. And from our like sort of we would believe that like we did not come to an end or something. And so if an AI could do that part as well, that'd be nice. Is it not only scan our brain and put a copy in the simulation, but actually like make us feel like we're leaving our body and entering the simulation and picking up there, so that we don't, so that it's not just like killing us all and then running copies. It actually feels like we're a seamless continuation. But that's I don't know if that problem can be solved.
That's a Black Mirror episode. But it also reminds me of an anime I watched that's on Netflix where they did that. They basically created a copy of the body on a spaceship, and they had to do it that way. And there's background as to why they had to do it that way, because it was impossible to travel there alive. They went through some sort of dangerous part of space where there was too much radiation; it would kill people. So they sent the ship there with this technology to be able to print. They printed copies, and then it was their consciousness, but yeah, they were copies. I would say that like our consciousness now, as it is, to me, that's your soul, and to be able to transfer that, you would have to be able to copy it, convert it to. I think it's too late. I don't know if it's possible. Because
if it's like a thing that, like, I'm assuming it's a thing that physically exists, then it should be able to like manipulate that physical stuff in some way.
You would need to have the hardware to be able to store it. So Altered Carbon came up with the idea of like some sort of stack.
Yeah.
Just like yes. So the stack idea.
But if the stack dies, like you couldn't make a copy of the stack or whatever. And that was
the super rich would have copies of themselves. Now, the copy that would be sent up to the satellite, though, to me, that seems like you die, your stack dies, your soul dies, and then there's a copy of you in space to continue your legacy, but it's not you anymore.
Yeah. So if it's like a different stack, then it's a different person. But as long as the stack is continued, then it's not too bad. But yeah, they just like shifted the brain into the stack essentially.
Unless just before you die, your consciousness is somehow taken from your corporeal body, put into the satellite, and then you're transferred down to a new body. But that's not what happens. There's a backup that's sent up. And as soon as there's a backup, and it's not your consciousness at that point in time, ooh, this is fascinating. If you ever copy your mind, your consciousness, who you are, is that copy going to be your soul? As soon as you try to move it, is it your soul? Or is our soul our brain and the neural pathways that have formed and the consciousness that have formed because of that? That's us. I don't know.
I was thinking one time, like one interesting way would be like if we could connect our brain directly to another brain, either over the internet or like physically with wires. And then basically from our perspective, it would seem as though we would gain like double the cognitive ability because we would have like this second blank brain, let's say, connected to our brain. So all of a sudden, like we'd have like double the input, double the memory storage or whatever. But then if we then slowly sort of like weighted it so that like new memories would form in the other brain, and we'd slowly forget like our old memories in our first brain, and then at some point you could sort of make the transition completely where most of our functioning and our memories were in the new brain, and then you could just get rid of the old brain. And then by doing it like really gradually and slowly like that, you could like transfer, like we would sort of like we would have this experience where like our mind is getting more powerful, getting more spacious, and then like but then shrinking back down again to the size of a regular brain, and then the old stuff, like the old brain, would be getting rid of. And maybe because you did it like gradually, like one memory at a time, we wouldn't notice that our entire brain had been swapped. So there would be no like there'd be no sharp point where like the consciousness like stream ends or whatever. And I was thinking it'd be cool if something like that, basically. Like, because then you could sort of think like, if, you know, like if I have my flesh brain right now and I start augmenting it with computer chips, like I install like extra memory and ability to like interface with my computer, and then I keep adding on all these hardware modules to my like flesh brain, such that my brain becomes like mostly like, you know, 50% computer, 50% regular brain. but I still just feel like I've augmented my original brain. But then if I started like replacing like the part of my brain that controls my heart rate and my breathing, if I replace that with like a machine, then at some point maybe my entire brain would just piece by piece be swapped out with like hardware, and there would never be like a point where like there'd never be a sharp point where I copy all of my brain in 1 second into the computer. It would just be like this augmentation of modules and this removal of like the old biological stuff until there's a day when my brain is fully in the computer and the whole like the transition happened. But it was like insignificant piece by insignificant piece, and I would never really have a point where I felt like my consciousness ended. It would just be like a slow movement of the underlying like platform kind of. And that's what I kind of wonder. It's kind of fun to think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like the anime Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I still need to watch anime more. I never get a chance, like reason to watch it.
Yeah, it's kind of the idea. I don't think they talk about that, the brain piece specifically, but basically they're gradually becoming cyborgs over time.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of the deadliest characters in the show is actually full cyborg. He converted over. But your protagonist is, has an addiction to being chromed out, as they call it. Yeah, great story. I don't think there'll be a season 2 with the way the season 1 ended. But yeah, check it out. I think you'll like it.
I might try to go to Anime Expo in Los Angeles it's in this July. I might go there for a day.
Which day?
It's like July 1st to July 4th is like the convention, so I'll just pick a random day.
Shit.
Because in LA they have Super Nintendo World in Universal Studios in LA, and they have Disneyland. So maybe I'll go Disneyland, Super Nintendo World, and Anime Expo. Do it all in one.
I would love to check all that out, but I'll be in Vancouver Island in BC the first 2 weeks of July doing a backpacking trip.
There's probably some kind of anime convention in Vancouver at some point.
Yeah.
You could backpack in full cosplay as a chromed out cyborg.
That's actually not a bad idea. Like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Can like get the shield and shit. The little leather pack. That would be amazing. Someone had to be Gandalf.
Yeah. But then you get Gandalf's horse. You could ride that for a bit. Shadowfax or whatever.
That'd be amazing, having the Fellowship doing the backpacking trail. Can you say lines for the movie?
Yeah, don't they offer that as a tour? You can do the actual route.
I don't know. I mean, doing your own trail, and like the kids will be like the hobbits. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Well, we're past our time. I don't know if you wanted to keep it to an hour.
Yeah, I'll head out. We're a little bit over time, but good chat, man.
Yeah, good chat.
Alrighty, I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I'll see you next time.
Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.